Hi everyone, Sue here from Scott Properties Group. I'm joined now by Ian Robinson from Mortgage Choice in Noosa. Hi Ian, how are you?
Hi Sue, nice to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So what's going on in your patch in down in Noosa, or Noosaville rather?
Right, well, I suppose the big talk throughout the COVID crisis is what are banks doing, and as you know, right at the start when the wave first started, the banks came out of the gates really quick and started offering people some relief on their mortgages, and they're still doing that to this day, and they'll continue to do that throughout the crisis. So anybody who thinks that they may be impacted and needs a bit of relief as far as cash flow goes, all of the banks in Australia are offering to put their payments on pause. So
if
that's
they put, okay, so if they put their payments on pause, I think I'm right in saying that when they start up again, say in 6 months' time, the interest has still accrued. Is that correct? Or are they, so they will still, will they have to pay more every month, or will it be balanced out over the length of their mortgage, or do we not know that yet?
Okay, so that depends on the bank. You're right, the interest does accrue because obviously they're not going to give you something for free. So what will happen then is that interest that has been added onto the loan will get adjusted with payments by either extending the loan term out or people make an additional payment to make sure that the loan is paid off as when it was supposed to. So whilst it does give you some relief now, and some people have to do it. And this is
I know. Yeah, fact of life.
And it's a great thing that they can do. And they're not only doing it for residential mortgages, they're doing it for business loans, they're doing it for commercial mortgages, personal loans, car loans.
Commercial property, I know, has been hit really badly. So landlords, I think the thing is, that's what people probably didn't get at the very beginning of when all this started, is that landlords as well as rent tenants are equally hit. They're all getting hit. Everyone's getting hit somewhere potentially. So that's
everybody, landlords or tenants, have still got
bills to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a shock when they first, or Queensland first, brought out the regulations for this, and thankfully Antonia at REIQ got behind it really quickly and got it settled a little bit more, so less, it was more evenly paced for tenants and landlords. And nobody wants to send anyone out of the house. I mean, nobody's in that business, but it has to be sensible and logical. So I have to say, I'm really glad I'm on the buyer's end, the buyer's agent these days, and not a selling agent, and certainly not doing rent roll, because that must be a pretty onerous task at the moment. And I know it is, because we've actually had people on here talking about it. So, but on saying that, it's not at the moment. A lot of people I gather are still kind of got salaries until maybe the end of May, so they haven't quite been laid off. They're thinking they might be, or that they're still getting the $1,500 a week from their employer already. I think we still don't know, I suppose, what's really going to happen in the market, but it's looking positive, as positive as it can be, and I'm certainly not suggesting it's going to be flatten out as far as property is concerned. But so I gather there's quite a lot of refinancing going on at the moment from
at the moment. It seems to be the way that things are going. People are starting to have a look at their commitments, and where they can shave a little bit off, they will. And most of the bigger banks now are offering some great 2-year, 1-year fixed deals, 2.1s, 2.2s, 2.0 things in the case of ING. So there's a number of those out there. But whilst people may not have to swap banks, they can look at other products that might save them some money. Even if you took like a 2.29 and then assess in a year once everything's finished, hopefully, then off you go again.
Well, exactly what Simon and I've done. We've done the same thing. We've just said, and it was a very easy process, I have to say. I just rang the bank and said, look, this is what we're paying. Is there, is there anything that you can do to help us? And they went, yeah, of course we can. Yeah, and it wasn't a sob story or anything. It was just, look, we're able to offer that at this moment. So I think, all in all, the banks are probably doing okay. What I am understanding is, though, and you might not be finding it, but I know some brokers have said to me that they have that. There's been a bit of a delay in getting some of the mortgages approved, or they've had pre-approval, but going back out there, they found something now and they want to go forward. 21 days is barely able to get it done, and it's being pushed out to 28 and even longer. Are you finding that? Is that something that you're finding?
Yeah, so what we found is a lot of the banks, the bigger ones in particular, outsourced a lot of their back-end processes to places like India and Manila, and of course they all went down to London. For example, people like 25,000 people working overseas doing that. So when they've all gone in, obviously there's no security, so they can't work from home. So all of that stuff had to be brought back on shore, and then they had to scramble to allocate
Find people to do it.
So other things. So just people have to just be aware that some things will take a little bit longer than normal, but they're trying to purchase people who are buying, and people are still buying.
Yes, of course.
So, those things take priority. People who are refinancing happen. So there's some good savings.
Yeah, and also, of course, I mean, there's always those people that actually don't need your services necessarily that are cashed up and they can go and buy anyway. I think the thing that's really important for buyers at the moment is that, don't delay. I mean, I can't see, I might be wrong, and who knows, but I can't see at this moment by everyone I'm talking to that there's going to be this horrendous decrease in property here on the coast and in Brisbane of 10-20%. I just don't think that's well, hopefully that's not going to happen, because that's going to put a lot. What's the valuations coming in? Are they coming in pretty much okay?
Valuations, all the valuations we've had in the last 3, 4, 6 weeks have all come in at purchase price. Valuers are doing things
remotely.
So that's not holding things up too much. So it's pretty much business as usual for banks. And banks have to lend now because they're giving although they're adding interest again, they're still giving a lot of cash flow away. And you saw that with NAB's results of 1.4 billion.
Yeah, I know.
So banks still have to keep money coming in the door, and they're lending at an enormous rate with good rates. So if people are in a position to borrow and they're looking at something, sometimes that across.
No, I do know that several, people that we've been working with as well, and so we've got a couple of delays going on currently for settlement. But the thing that's been really interesting is that depending on who the lender is, and most of them have actually gone through a bank bar too, they're saying that they're getting unconditional approval, but they're still getting phone calls 48 hours prior to settlement saying, is everything as it was? And that's a bit of a difficult one there, because I don't know how that will work. I'm going to have a word with because I'm actually going to have a word with Amy Thomas tomorrow, the conveyancer, and say, look, what would happen in that situation if somebody has got a pre-approval, they've gone unconditional, so they are committed to purchase, and then all of a sudden at the 11th hour, the lender says, well, actually, we've changed our strategy, and no, you can't have as much or whatever. I don't know enough legally how that would pan out. So that's a question for tomorrow.
A couple of banks that are doing that, but what a lot of banks have done to circumvent that is that they're starting to, where you used to have to show pay slips that weren't any older than a month, for example, any approval, now they're asking for pay slips in 14 days just to make sure that people are still
okay.
And then just prior to approval, ask for another one just to double check that. That's sort of circumvent worry.
No, it's kind of as you would expect it, really, to be honest.
Yeah, they're cracking down on people who obviously are in the leisure industry or the hospitality industry or retail at the moment, and there's a lot more questions.
Yes, and sole traders as well, and self-employed, because there's necessarily no guarantees that.
Most banks for them now are asking for BAS statements.
So that's fine, and I don't know how it would affect them, because if they have, I don't know. I mean, people may have lost money, but they can still get government aid. I don't know how that affects mortgages. I have no idea if that take them out of the mortgage scenario. If they take,
you can still be receiving JobKeeper and still get a loan. That's okay, as long as there's a couple of people who got through. The good thing the other day was that post-COVID, banks are taking a very, very common sense approach to figures, because a lot of people, especially those self-employed, will have low figures coming for the last 6 months going for a loan after COVID. Lending can't stop. People, so
it's economics. I mean, general economics has to continue. Yeah.
Banks will be looking at maybe 17s and 18s instead of 18s and 19s, so just to see what the pattern. We're going to be really good about it. But people don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's good. Well, what I'm planning to do, Ian, is maybe in 6 or 8 weeks' time, if already depending on what the market's looking like, we'll get back on again and see if anything's changed dramatically, because the whole purpose of doing these videos was to ensure that the man in the street was getting good, solid, on the ground information, because there's been an awful lot of stuff going out that's hyped up and whatever, and you know us well enough as a company to know that we don't do hype in any capacity. So and I don't believe it's good to do that, and making promises which really can't be substantiated, and we just didn't want that to be attached to us, I suppose, from our point of view. And we've got some really good connections like you that we know will give us the truth, and that's what we've aimed for over these 12 videos that we've done, these Zoom meetings that we've done. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. The pool's looking nice.
Yes, it's warm enough to jump in too, I think.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I know. I think I'm going to be...
Sorry for all those people down in Victoria, but anyway.
Oh, well, never mind, guys. You've got to live somewhere, but, come up here when you're ready. Okay, Ian, take care now. Okay, thank you so much. Bye. See you soon.